Hi guys, so how do you map a print file with the table before you can bring it all in an RPG program? So you right click on your source physical file, you go to member, and then you create a print file. So I will create here a final print file, and you can choose from the list by pressing P several times until you hit PRTF, and then you hit finish. So your print file gets created. Once your print file is created, you need to bring in the relative record format here. You have to be in the DDS design perspective to do this. One of the things that I highly recommend everybody do is to switch over to design report so that you can also rename your report. So let's say if from design record to design report. So let's say I call this one final exam and press enter. So your name gets replaced here. Then you start bringing in your relative record. So I bring in a relative record, and this relative record is where I am putting my text constant, which will go as my heading for the report. So this is where I will be putting in the text under the properties. So instead of the text constant, I could just replace it with whatever I need it to be. So for example, final exam. And then I bring in another relative record right here. And notice that you can see both relative records because I have design reports selected. If I was in design records, I would not be able to see both of them. It is also possible for you to rename your relative records. So if you click on the records and you click on record 1, and if I double click on record 1, and I can go under properties, and from here, from the included one, and I can change its name, let's say, to title. And then I can click on the record 2, and I can say, okay, I will call this one data, and hit enter. Okay, and all of this code is generated behind the scene if you go under source. So this is where you can confirm by clicking the source to see if the names are getting changed. So now let me switch back to design. In the design, now it's time to add the fields. So this is how you can do mapping. There's several different ways to do mapping. I can bring in a named field and I can manually map it, or I could go to Remote System Explorer and I can locate the item that I want to map to. For example, this is how I will do it. I'll right click on my source physical file and I will expand to include the data files. And these are all the data files I have. So in my data files, I am selecting the November department. I right click in November department and I click on show in table, and then I click fields. So all the department fields are listed now at the bottom under the field table tab. I can simply drag and drop whatever fields I need on my report on the location where I need it on my report. And as you can see, all of it gets transferred over. And then I can go to the DDS design, and I can click in each one of these fields and go to the basics tab, where I can see that the name of the field is mapped to the actual field in the table. And when I go to the reference tab, you can see in the reference tab that it is connected with that table NOVDEPT. This is the record format, and that's the field. Once you make that connection, you go to the source tab to make sure that all the source is written for you. And that's where you can simply save the changes and you can then compile. So if I compile this source code,